Um,
There we go.
all right, Sherry, you want to get us started? How's everything going?
Going good. I got people in the pipeline, but
Good.
trying to keep up with leads that I have talked to in the past at open houses,
Good.
recontacting them. So that's what I've
Excellent.
been working on.
Good job. Abby, how's everything with you?
It's going good. I've just been contacting people still. I really want to get open houses set up.
Yes.
So how do I is there a space where I can go to ask people like do you need me to do your open house or where do I do that?
Yeah, there's a couple different avenues. So Southern Oregon has like a KWSO Facebook group. It's called KWSO Mastermind. So you should have been invited to that. If not, let me know and I'll reach out to Sam. And then there's also an email list that will sometimes come out where agents will be like, hey, is anyone available to do that? So kind of watch your email. And then you
Okay.
can also reach out to the agents in your area, like the Mary Gilbert team, and offer your services too. And just be like, hey, I am available. I am still working on getting you a shadow.
Okay.
It's been a little bit difficult, but I'm hoping there will be an opportunity either this weekend or really quick soon.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Jane, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How's your lead generation going?
Oh, still the same like as yesterday. Yeah.
Good.
And
Good.
I'm also looking for the opportunities to shadow the agent.
For the open houses? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing one this weekend if she wants to shadow me.
Oh, okay, great.
One
Yeah.
to one to three on
I'll email info
Sunday
to
or
you and then let you
Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry. My daughter has competition this Saturday.
Oh shoot.
Oh,
Oh
fun.
well.
That's okay, Stacey. I have a list of like four in Portland that need one. So
Okay.
I'll email you
Yeah,
for the info and set you up
sure
with
thing.
someone. And then I'll see if I can find someone for would Sunday be better, Jane?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see what I can find.
Yeah, Sunday, but it's a 2-day event, but
Oh,
Sunday
okay.
it's
So maybe next weekend.
next week. Yeah, next
Okay.
weekend.
Okay. No worries. Perfect. Excellent. Welcome, Chris. I will not put you on the spot because I think today is your first live class with us.
First
He
day.
is one of our newest Eugene family members, but we do kind of like a check-in on your lead generation efforts and any appointments or anything like that in the beginning of each class. And who else did I forget? Shelly. I know you've got your form set up now.
Well, I did get my form set up, so that was exciting. Um, and I've got my cards in the works. In fact, I was just talking to the gal on that. So now I will have cards, which is also exciting.
Good.
So I'm really starting to get my foundation in, which I needed to do. And I'm fully on MLS now. And other than I need to still get into, I haven't downloaded the Supra e-key yet. That's my next thing is kind of, piece by piece. But I got to get that downloaded and get into that. And then, yeah, I kind of want to do a little more with the open houses and things like that. But I also have started now that I've gotten a little more of my foundation and I've started reaching out to more people. So I've gotten a lead put in because I got
Awesome.
somebody. So I got them put in, reached out, told them, that I was a realtor, if they know people, which is a good contact because they live in the air park in Independence.
Awesome.
So.
Perfect. Good job. Lonnie, welcome on. We're just doing our accountability check-in real quick. Did you want to update us?
Hey Mara, yes. So, I am trying to get in contact with a lady that we know in the military base, just so that so I can see if I can make like a reunion with the soldiers and have a loan officer go with me to talk to the soldiers about things that would probably benefit them.
For home buying. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, without further ado, I will introduce our amazing instructor today. We are going to be doing capture leads with open houses. So perfect topic since a lot of you talked about either getting ready to shadow or hosting open houses. We have Stacy Coy, who is one of our principal brokers out of our Sunset Corridor office. And she is stationary in Sunset Quarter, but she oversees Salem for Capital City as well. And she brings a wealth of knowledge to the home buying and selling process. She lives in Aloha, Oregon. She spends her free time reading, enjoying all the glorious Pacific Northwest has to offer. She's also passionate about giving back to the community and makes service a big part of her life. And she's now ready to serve you. She previously was a teacher and she's currently going through the process to be a Keller Williams International instructor as well. So she'll also talk to you about sending you a survey that you will please complete so that she can continue on that process. So without anything else, I'll hand it over to her.
Thanks, Mara.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, let me share my screen so that you can all see this one. Share. All right, you're all able to see that? Yes? Ignites. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I don't want to turn it into a slideshow because it's just going to get too big and then I lose your guys' faces. And what I was saying before Mara popped on is that being able to see you guys is really important to me because then I can see how you're engaging and if you have any questions or if there's things that you need further coverage on. So, so without further ado, let's just jump right into open houses. We are going to talk about generating leads, or you've already talked about these things, becoming a real estate expert. You're now into the lead generation section, and we're on session 7, which is capture leads with open houses. And that's what we are going through. So today, we're going to talk about best practices. We're going to talk about prepare, prospect, pursue. We'll do some recap and on Haas, and then we'll move on to the daily success system. Okay, so that is our plan as we go through that stuff. Okay, so here is the first slide that I wanted to have somebody read for us. Anybody want to volunteer to read that for me?
Nothing.
Go ahead, Shane.
Your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads you have. Gary Keller, millionaire real estate agent.
Okay, so why do you think we are beginning the session on open houses with this particular quote?
Open houses are one of the best way to get leads.
The good answer. Not just one of the best, it is the number one way. Or not the number one way. I guess it's different for everybody, but it is your number one job to gain leads, right? That's your job description as a realtor. It's not all this other stuff. It's like to get leads. And this is one way to impact the number of leads that you have, and a pretty effective one, if I can be so bold. All right. Why hold open houses? What's the purpose or the goal of open house holding?
To get leads.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
To sell your property.
Yes. Sell your property. That's right. Sell the house and capture the leads. Now, if it's your property that you're listing and you're hosting that open house for yourself, then you are like trying to get the house sold. That means get as many people through as possible. If it's a house that you are hosting on behalf of another listing agent, your job is to sell the house and also to capture leads that are going to build your database, which is then going to make you much more effective in the long run. Okay, so as a new agent, open houses are easy. They're fun, low cost way to get in front of buyers. Your goal in holding an open house is not only to sell the home, it's to put yourself in the path of opportunity. The business opportunity to meet people, to add to your database, set appointments, and it's all with interested buyers. And so knowing that, it's a really effective thing to do, and it provides you a lot of practice. The practice in doing an activity over and over and over again is going to get you better and better and better, right? The better we are at interacting with other people, the more likely that your success rate in converting those people to leads increases, right? So, and it's just practice. Every single person that comes into that open house, if you blow it, well, there'll be another person that comes into the open house next time and next time and next time. So it's great. Many agents holding open houses is their number one strategy to build a strong business. Open houses is, and it can be yours too. Follow a proven model. And buyers and sellers come to you. Other visitors may not be actively looking to buy or sell. Nevertheless, a memorable and favorable impression can generate referrals now and business farther down the road. So, since we're talking about open houses today, it's important to know before engaging in-person activities, double check your rules, double check the COVID restrictions, contact your local real estate associations for best practices, et cetera, et cetera. For example, in Beaverton, that's where sometimes I will hold an open house. They don't allow balloons on open house signs. That's against a city restriction. So you should know that kind of stuff about your particular area that you are hosting that. And they say those balloons are too distracting on an open house sign. So can't have them there, but in other areas, they're fine. So it just depends on what is needed there. So do your research. Do your research. All right.
Where do you look that up at? Is it like the city ordinances?
That's a good question. I don't know. I was told that information from somebody who taught this Ignite session, and through a title company. So you could reach out to your title company. They probably know. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our next page. Okay, dispelling limiting beliefs. All right, we always want to check in with our mindset. If you've been in real estate for any amount of time, you know that our mindset is something that is can have a limiting effect on us, not just on our actions, but also emotionally. It can limit what we do. Your mindset can also have the opposite effect, which could be a very positive thing, depending on what your mindset is. So we always want to check in and see if there's anything that we might be thinking that might be incorrect, and attack them as the myths that they are, right? So that we can overcome them and move on to a positive thing. So limiting beliefs about open houses. There's some of them that are listed right here. Does anyone have any limiting beliefs about hosting open houses? Things that you might be believing about hosting that we can talk about right now?
I feel like
Yeah.
I've heard people say that it's not actually effective to get leads and it's kind of just like a waste of time. That's just what I've heard.
Okay.
Ooh, I would
That's a great
disagree
one.
with that. I would disagree.
Yeah.
I did like almost 90 open houses for a while there, and that's where I got most of my leads, and I've gotten 2 sales out of it.
Yep. Yeah. I can dispel that one too. It's one of the easiest ways of getting in the path of buyers that are ready, willing, and able. And I mean, they're already looking, you know, that they want to buy a house, right? So they become clients based on your consistency and follow-up. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. On the points here, on the point that says, I may not know the answers to questions visitors have. You know, like, I'm sure that there are plenty of questions people are going to have that I'm not going to be able to answer. What do I do in a situation like that? Other than say, I
Excellent.
can check in with my principal broker.
Well, okay, so yeah, you can say that. One of the things that I do when I first am introducing myself at the open house, that is not my own open house, my own listing, I will say, hey, I'm not the listing agent here, but if you have any questions, I can check with the listing agent to find out for you, right? So I set the parameter in the beginning, and then the second thing that I'll do is if I don't know an answer, I'm not going to fake it, because that doesn't establish trust or credibility. It's okay to say, I don't know that answer, but let me find out for you. What's your phone number so that I can get you the answer on the age of the roof, right? You don't always know everything, and that's okay. And at that point, you call the listing agent, you text the listing agent and say, hey, what's the age of the roof? And then you come back and you're the presenter of information. You've proven yourself as a reliable source of somebody who can be helpful. And so it's really okay to say, I don't know, but let me find out for you.
Okay.
And you got their phone number and their name.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Anything else? Any other limiting beliefs that we might be struggling with? Oh, circling back to what you were just talking about, like you may not know the answers to the questions that visitors may have. In your preparation, hopefully you're preparing yourself as much as possible on that particular house, that neighborhood, the other comps that are around there. So that way, when you are at the open house, you can conceivably present yourself as an expert because you've done your research.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. And about the first one on the list, I don't have a listing to hold open. Anybody have a good answer for that one?
Ask other agents.
You?
I've not had a listing yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've hosted how many opens?
A lot, like probably over 100.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's what it takes sometimes.
Hey,
It's a
Stacey,
numbers game.
I have a question.
Mhm.
When it comes to doing the open houses, do we just like randomly ask agents like, hey, are you gonna have a open house? Because that's something that I've been kind of thinking about and how to do it. So, what is the best thing that you would recommend to me? I did go with Debbie because
So you've shadowed somebody already?
yeah, so I did an open house with Georgia, and then after that, I got in communication with Debbie and Brian. And I was able to just be there for them so that because they went on vacation. So in case their client wanted to go see a house, I'm gonna go and help them just so that they can see the house.
Great. Yeah, so once you have shadowed, then you have been trained, right, in your ability to be able to host an open house. And at which point you can then go and host on behalf of listing agents. Now, to pick up those open house opportunities, I don't know about you guys, but my email box is flooded with, hey, I have a house that needs an open held this weekend. Jump on that. Or you can be proactive and reach out to the teams that are in your market center or the solo agents or those agents that are in production. And you can call them and say, hey, I would love to host your open house. Here's the value that I offer to you as an agent. And so if you have any listings that are coming up and they might say, oh yeah, I have one in March. You're like, great, book me down for the date that it's going to go live because I want to host it that weekend, right? So you can be proactive about things too. You can also introduce yourself to their TCs because the TCs often are the ones who are doing all the little nitpicky details about when things happen. And so when you make a good connection with a TC, then that TC can use you as somebody to call to say, hey, we have a listing that's going to be taking place next weekend or in 2 weekends or 3 weekends, and we want you to be our person. Now, you have to be a good open house host. That means you have to be really responsive. You have to give great feedback and all the things that we're going to talk about today. But it's establishing that rapport with those listing agents, introducing yourself, talking about your value that you have to them, because those high producers, they don't have time to do it. And so they rely on us to go and cover those open houses, which then puts you in the path of great buyers and or sellers. All right, what about the second one? I don't have any signs yet. Anybody have a good answer to that one?
I borrowed one from the center office.
Yeah. hmm You can even ask to borrow the ones from the listing agent. Do you happen to have any open house sites?
Good idea.
Listing agents most often will have that too if you need it. Though it's not a terribly inexpensive, or it's not a terribly expensive expense. And once you have your A-frames, then you have them. I've been functioning on 4 A-frames, guys, since I've been hosting open houses. That's all I have. That's all I purchased. I have 4 of them and I use them great. So, but I also, for Christmas, when I first started, I asked my parents, I was like, instead of a Christmas present this year, buy me an open house flag. And they did. And I have that too. So I've got a little open house flag that collapses into a nice little bag, and my parents were happy and I was happy. It's just it's a cheap and easy way to start hosting. Great.
Also, you can get your equipment, check your local printing places, because sometimes they're cheaper than the ones you can get on the internet.
Yep. Absolutely true. Yeah, and we do have some in-house printers too, that are partnerships. They're power partners that will provide you with a discounted fee for what they would normally charge people. So reach out to the power partner there, and the MC Laser and Signs is one of them. And so they're great at creating signs for you. Okay, awesome. All right. I think we covered the other ones. Oh, the I Won't Feel Safe. Nobody brought that one up. Anyone thinking about that?
I usually stay outside. I don't usually sit in the house unless somebody shows up, then I go in with them. But normally I sit outside by my car or in my car.
Yep. Smart, smart, smart. That's a great tip. Anybody else? Safety tips?
Isn't
I
there
did shadowing I'm trying to think of his name that I did shadowing with. Wish I could remember it because he was really nice, but he gave me really good tips as far as you always just stay in one central area when you go in, and which is, kitchen or dining area, and you don't follow the people around the house or go into the rooms. You allow them to work their way around the house. And you don't, if, there's 2 of them and they, somebody calls you into the room, he said, you don't just walk in there. He said, because somebody can be standing behind a door. He really went over everything very thoroughly with me. That's on great. The safety aspect of it, which I was really thankful for, because there was things that he had pointed out that I was like, oh, I had not thought about that. But yeah, he was very good about it.
That's awesome. Super helpful. Buddy Up, that's another one. You can go and do it together, right? You can also reach out to your lenders. Sometimes lenders like to do open houses as well, because if they're doing that partnership with you, they're going to try to build rapport with the people that come in that way. And so you can have a lender partner with you. They get a client, you get a client. It's like a win-win. And you're developing a lender partnership, which is crucial in our business. Let's see, I have a little lanyard and I keep the key and my own personal keys for Getaway on my person so that it can't be taken away, right? It's just like hanging from my neck. So a key to the house, key to my car. I park my car in a way that's really easily to get away, right? Never park in a way that you are blocked in or that it's inaccessible. And always know your surroundings, right? Be mindful of your surroundings. Listen to your gut. If something feels off, you don't have to listen to that. You can ask to take pictures of somebody's driver's license to say, hey, the sellers are requiring that we document who's coming in. If you're feeling funny, usually that's a good indication that somebody might be up to something. All right. I saw a hand up. Was that you, Abigail?
Yeah.
Or no?
No, that was me.
Okay.
What kind of safety issues come up during open houses?
You could be murdered or raped.
Oh, okay.
Because you're essentially meeting a whole bunch of, new strangers, and you're in a home that is not with other people there sometimes. And so it can be really, it can be a dangerous situation for some. The statistics are there. It can be a pretty tough place. And there's lots of things that you can do to make yourself aware, protect yourself.
Okay.
Being on the phone will sometimes help dispel things too.
Gotcha. So it is a thing that's happened. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. We have September is like Realtor Safety Month, and they talk about all that. And we usually try to offer a self-defense course, and they go over some of the things that you can talk about in there too. Yeah. It is a thing, but there's ways that you can get around it. I always will check in with my partner at the beginning, and we'll have regular check-in times scheduled. And if they don't hear from me at that regular check-in time, I'll get a call. Then I'll just be like, "Yeah, I'm here. It's good," right? That's just a way of keeping everybody going. All right, I feel like we've done this one to death. Let's move on to the next. The spelling limiting beliefs. I feel like we just did that. Okay, 2 pages of the same thing. All right, so let's talk about capturing leads with open houses. Here we go. Open houses, who benefits? We know the 2 main goals for most open houses are to sell houses and to generate leads. Who does the open house benefit? Kind of listed right here, cheating, but how does it benefit the sellers?
People are getting to see their property.
High exposure. How does it benefit the buyers?
They're able to go and look at houses without having to make appointments with their real estate agent.
Yep. The research shows that about 51% of buyers do their research through open houses. That's a lot of people who are out there going in and researching through open houses. And most of them at that point don't have an agent, which is another big advantage, that if you put yourself in their path when they don't have an agent, then you're much more likely to gain them as a client. How do open houses benefit the neighbors?
I tell them they don't have an empty house open for vagrant people. Or they might have family that wants to move in that area.
Anyone else? It gives them a good idea on price, value, right? Whatever happens with that house selling in their neighborhood is going to affect the neighborhood's value and their own neighborhood value, the condition. Sometimes you have a lot of looky-loos. They're just straight up curious. That's always fun. Okay. And how does it benefit you, the agent?
I get a sale.
Yay. That's right. Yep. It captures the leads of potential buyers, other sellers, future buyers, and sellers. You get to connect with the neighborhood prior to the event, which is pretty great. Being able to go and do door knocking. We'll talk about that, and introduce yourself. You get to place signs with your name throughout the neighborhood, which also is a form of advertising. And you get to practice conversations, answering questions, providing value, refining your presence in a way that that makes you an expert, right? So you gain confidence as you go through too. All right, so it allows for both prospecting and marketing enhancement, which is pretty great things. All right, let's move on to the next slide. The benefits of open houses. What do you think are some of the benefits of an open house?
You can get possible leads.
I also think you get training. I feel much more comfortable after doing all those open houses, and I feel more comfortable talking to people and kind of knowing what to do and how to do it now a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
An open house can get you multiple offers.
It sure can. I'll go down the list. Oh, wait, go ahead. What was that?
I was going to say, maybe it could put clients at ease because it's kind of something visible that you're doing. And the clients are like, oh, wow, this is, this agent's really working for me.
That's true. I'll throw one out there that's not quite on this list. If you are hosting open houses and you're putting it up on your social media, and you're leveraging that, then everybody who sees your social media is like, ooh, they're a real estate agent and they are a successful real estate agent because here they are doing the work of a real estate agent. So it gives you some credibility in the eyes of your sphere, which is another helpful thing to have. Let's talk about its inexpensiveness though, right? One of the primary benefits of open houses, they're relatively inexpensive to host. We talked a little bit about how you can access signs. If you and a fellow classmate want to go in on signs together, I did that in the beginning too. And I said, I'll host on Saturdays, you host on Sundays, and we shared signs for a bit until we were each able to afford our own. And that was a great way of doing it. Yeah, they don't cost much and it only requires a time investment. And so with open houses, your time as the newer agent tends to be more plentiful than your money. And so getting that time investment is great. All right, let's
Do you
see.
have some people that don't, do you have some people that don't want their house on an open house, and the fact that they don't want that many people as far as but how do you want to say it? Because in an open house, you just have anybody coming through, whether they're pre-approved or, that type of thing, where it's just, somebody, any looky-loo can just, so to say, I'm trying to figure out how to say that. Any looky-loo can just come and walk, and then whether they're buying or they're not buying, they're just looking.
It's true.
And so they're just, out for the day walking, and they're just going to walk through your house. And versus, somebody who makes an appointment, they may be pre-qualified, they're definitely buying. And so that would be the difference of, not doing open houses. Do a lot of sellers have an opinion on the fact that they don't want to do an open house for that reason?
Of course,
right
yeah.
there?
That's a conversation that the listing agent usually has at their listing consultation appointment. They talk about the value that open houses can bring, because obviously the more people you get through your house, the higher likelihood you're going to have more exposure. More exposure leads to more possibilities of multiple offers. Multiple offers leads to a higher price, right? And so you can talk about that with your list or with the seller at the listing appointment. In some listings say, nope, absolutely, we do not want an open house. They may have young kids, and that's just too prohibitive to how their family functions. And so they're like, nope, we can't do an open house. That's just not in our bandwidth. I know some listing agents will sit down and say, hey, the first weekend is where we really want to hit it. We want to make sure that we're putting all of our efforts and our attentions into this. So go away for the weekend, and then keep your house open for the whole, let me run my open houses so I can get as many people through as possible. And then you can do it that way. So, I mean, it's just all conversations. Ultimately, you're right. It is up to the seller to decide what they would like. You just present them with the value and the benefit that they can bring. Yeah.
The other thing on those looky-loos, I'll go out and invite them. Hey, come to my open house, because I'm not getting any traction. So
yep.
I will just go out and ask them and invite them.
And they provide feedback to the seller, right? They're going to look around and they're going to be honest about what they see in the house, that then you can then talk to the seller about, hey, they thought it was really dim and dark in here. What can we do to improve that, right? And then at that point, the seller has feedback on what to do. Or they didn't like the look of the carpet. Okay, maybe seller, that means that you need to address carpet before anything else. Remember, we say we'll provide a carpet credit, or you take it off and we get carpet in there and then we put it back on. Like, there's a lot of things that can be done, right, with feedback. So having feedback is super beneficial. I never turn away looky-loos either, just because I'm like, well, they're going to provide something of value to the seller.
Well, and it makes you look better too, like you actually got somebody there.
Exactly. Okay, prospecting tool. What that means is that it can be potential clients that you can meet as, and it's great for lead generation. So even if you meet somebody who's not ready, willing, or able now, they may be ready, willing, or able in like a couple months or a year. I've had somebody I met at an open house 2 years later, out of the blue, call me up and be like, we're ready. And sure enough, I helped them buy a house, and that's how it worked, right? right? You just never know when that's going to happen. As long as you are consistently doing a lead generation follow-up plan with those METs, then it's really beneficial to you. All right. And then let's talk about high ROI. Anybody know what ROI stands for?
Return on investment.
Exactly. Yes. So it says that it has a high return on investment. And the main thing that you invest when preparing for an open house is time. So your return on investment can be tremendous. You can generate leads, you can qualify leads, and you can get potentially closed deals for very little money output in the beginning. Because once you have those signs, you have those signs, right? And then it can lead to closings. All right. And then we talked about qualifying leads. Qualified leads are important because it gives the participants opportunities to get face-to-face and build meaningful relationships with clients. And so that is super helpful. Who are you most likely to get from open houses? What types of leads? You think it's buyers or sellers?
Probably buyers.
Yeah, probably buyers. Okay, our next slide is ahas. This is where you guys get to tell me if you've had any breakthroughs, any things that have changed your mind, any takeaways so far. Sometimes in the saying it back, it really cements it in your own brain.
My aha was you said you had too many emails for open houses, and I want to know how to get that.
Too many emails for open houses? I don't remember saying that.
Oh. Yeah, I'm very limited in Roseburg on how many open houses I can do now that I'm not on a team.
Mm.
And so I did ask in Medford, and then I'm asking here, and then I've asked Mara and Eugene.
Yeah. Yeah, reaching out to the people in your office is going to be essential. So it sounds like developing relationships with other agents that are in your market center who would have those open houses is going to be the way to go for you. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about best practices now. I guess any other ahas before we move on? And sorry, Zinnia, I don't remember saying I had so many emails that I couldn't follow up with them.
No worries. You might have been using that as an example.
Yeah. I mean, during COVID, yeah, that follow-up can be tough because there was, 30, 40 people through open houses, and coming up with a plan to follow up with all of them is challenging, but yeah, it happened.
I think you were just saying how you had like a lot of people sending emails to you saying like, I have this open house if anyone wants
Oh, yes.
Like, how do we get
Sunset
those?
Corridor? I understand what you're saying. Okay, you're right. I did say that. Thank you for clarifying. In Sunset Corridor, we have about 250 agents on our roster, and many of them have listings. So we often have more listings than we have people who are willing to host. And so we get emails on the regular saying, hey, I have an open that is coming up. Can I have somebody host it, right? And so I receive probably about 10 of those in a week, just playing the numbers. And during busy times, it could be upwards of like 20 or 30 those that come through. So I don't know if it's the same down south. Okay. Let's talk about setting goals next. All right. So when we are remembering the 6 personal perspectives, E to P, everything that we do, it's essential to be purposeful in our mindset and our actions. So before your open house, set concrete and achievable goals. For example, tell yourself your goal is to add 6 people to your database, right? When you have a goal that is concrete, then you're much more likely to hit that goal because it has to be specific and measurable. So it's important to set goals that are achievable and will require a lot of work. So setting attainable and difficult goals will help maximize the participants' return on investment. That was one example, setting a goal of making sure that you're going to add 6 people to the database that particular week, because that's something that you can do. Does anybody have any other ideas of what goals could be useful to set for yourself before you host an open?
To like research about the area that you're going to and make sure you know about the listing.
So a goal to become an expert in that neighborhood.
Calling your title company to get information on that house or around the neighborhood.
Yeah, your title companies are a wealth of resources, and they have so much available to you as an agent that can provide materials that are great. Plus, as part of XBN, you guys get the Area Pro information. And so you can run that particular house that you're holding an open house for through Area Pro and really refine and get specific neighborhood data through that. It's a great resource. So Area Pro is good. Your title company is great. They help provide resources for you. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done. Maybe your goal could be to door knock on 20 doors beforehand to give your information out to the people who could potentially, talk or send people to their open house. Like, who doesn't want to pick their neighbor, right? Do you know anybody who's willing to come or who's looking for wanting to live nearby? If you have a son or daughter, send them to the open house this weekend, right? And then it's giving you an opportunity to say, hey, and would you ever be interested in wanting to know what your house is worth? I'd be happy to run a comparative market analysis for you. Yeah. So it could be a goal of like, I'm going to introduce myself to X number of neighbors.
With that being said, can you, I know that you have to have a buyer's rep to send them properties, but if you are doing an open house and you send them that your flyer, is that still fall under sending them properties?
No, because in that instance, you're at that point functioning as a fiduciary, or not a fiduciary. You're functioning as the person who's trying to sell the open house, and that agent who's trying to sell that house. The listing agent has an agency relationship already established. You're acting under their authority to help that process. So in providing information about that house to neighbors, that's not violating anything.
So you could also send it to your sphere, as long as
it's very clearly labeled. And here's the compliance person, as long as it's very clearly not saying this is my listing, that this listing is the listing of so and so.
So you would just add the listing agent's name and the listing agent, and then you're doing the hosting.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can't put it off as if it's your listing.
Right.
That's not ethical. So that won't work. Okay, let's move on to the number 1. So setting goals, super great, super important. Make them attainable and make them measurable, right? Like, it's easy. You can door knock 20 homes, right? Set aside 2 hours on Friday if your open house is on Saturday. Door knock homes, boom, 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 and then you can hit that goal. All right, pick the house. Let's talk about that. It's a crucial step in the open house process. It's important to look for great and visible location, preferably not more than 3 turns from a major road. Once you've chosen the house, get familiar with the neighborhood. You should already be doing this as part of your strategy to connect with your market. And as you prepare for the open house, get to know the closest shopping centers, grocery stores, architecture, coffee shops, Remember, you want to make sure that you're knowing what's nearby. If there's a green space, if there's a walking trail, being familiar with the schools there, sometimes that's super helpful. So knowing the basic information before you host the open house, have a conversation with the listing agent. So give me some of the stats and data. Why are they moving? Because you know you're going to get that question asked. Like, what is it that I should know about this house that's really important, right? And ask that particular question to the person. Also, when you're choosing, make sure that you're selecting average priced homes, and adjust your house price on that. Like sometimes it could seem great that you're going to host $1 million listing for somebody, but $1 million listing buyers often have real estate agents. So that may not be your best bet to host an open house on some of those higher end homes. So search for the middle ground, the 3-bedroom, 2 baths, right? Those places that are going to get a lot of traffic, the ones that are the most common, because they'll get a lot of people in. Maybe that sometimes means steering away from condos in your area if you know that the condo market's not doing well. Or it could mean that you are like wanting to specialize in a certain area, and so you're getting really good at a certain area and you want to keep hosting and make your presence known in that particular area. So yeah. If the goal of an open house is to generate and qualify leads, what other things should you think before you pick the home for the open house? Anything that we didn't quite cover?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah, if your goal is to generate and qualify leads, what other things should you think about before you pick a home for the open house? Kind of a glaring one that we didn't really talk about.
I would say maybe demographics. Who do you think is going to be interested in that house in that area?
Potentially.
Good schools, be family, or what have you.
Yep. Goal, sometimes hosting an open house for somebody whose house has been on the market for 2 months, maybe not the best for bringing in a lot of buyers, right? The age of our days on market is sometimes a good indicator. Unless there's been something that has happened recently, like let's say it's had X number of days on market and they just did a major price drop. That's a good time to host an open house because it's going to bring in new people. All right, let's talk about the next one. Prepare and practice. Ooh. Before you host, prepare a list of questions that you may be asked as conversation starters and just practice them. Some questions you may face are going to test your knowledge of the market, right? Hand the piece of paper to somebody in your family, the MLS full, and be like, hey, ask me some questions about what's on this paper. Like, you should know how much square footage it is. You should know how many bedrooms are in the house. You should know if there's anything else that, like, if it has a well on there, right? Those are bits of information that you need to make yourself knowledgeable about that particular house. So practice, test your knowledge. Have your family members help you with that.
When I went out on the open house, I did that, but I also knew what the square footage of the lot was. And then when I got there, I walked around with Jameson and we looked at the interior of the home, the exterior of the home, literally everything. I mean, I looked at it as if I was buying it just so that I knew everything that, and kind of visually did an inspection, so to say.
Of course, absolutely.
Of it myself, just so that if we got somebody that I knew, everything to it.
I will always print out the MLS full for me to have, like the agent full for me to take into the property with me. And I have it on, it's one of the things I'm holding in my hands when I am, at an open house. That way I have those data ready and willing to provide it verbally, right? And I can glance down and be like, oh yeah, it's X number of square feet, even if I don't have it committed to memory. let's say. But we would hope that you would. Another thing that you should always walk the house ahead of time, right? Before you get started. Pick something in the house that's of interest. And that way when people come in, say, hey, make sure that you try to find the blah, blah, blah on the second floor. Come back and tell me what you think, right? Something that the buyer can, like, kind of a little scavengery hunt type thing, right? Tell me about what you thought about that door in the bonus room, or something like that. Okay. And the history of the house, that's another important one, to know how long it has been on the market, to know when it sold, or when it sold last, when it, like, what's the history of the house, because that tells a lot about the story as well. Okay. Bringing a speaker like a lender or an inspector can help facilitate conversations and answer questions. During an open house, you want to have a sign-in of some sort for the event. Some agents even make this a requirement, stating it's a safety measure. You can even ask them to leave something of value while they tour the home, like car keys or driver's license. Again, it's a safety measure. Explain to the participants that setting up a sign-in station allows you to capture leads, right? And what are the 3 important things that we need to get when we capture leads for our own databases? The top
Name,
3:
phone number, and
phone number,
address, email.
Yep. If you get those 3, phone number, address, email, you're winning, because then you can contact them in all of those ways. And that's a really good thing to have. And then you have plenty of opportunity afterwards to follow up, because that's an important thing. Prepare and practice. If you do not use a sign-in sheet, what other ways can you use to gather data and contact information?
Maybe asking them to join your social media, follow you on social media, what have you.
Maybe. Yep. Sometimes if somebody has a question, and I may know the answer, but I may not give it to them, I'll be like, that's a great question, because they haven't provided me information. Let me find out for you, and I'll text it to you, right? And then I'm a little sneaky that way, so that I just type the number in right then and there, and then I can try to follow up with the question, or with the answer to their question later. Sometimes that's a way that they may feel comfortable doing that. Okay, let's talk about the next one, which is pick the time. Ooh, and theme. The time you choose for an open house is important. When you know your market well and you've connected with it, picking the right time to host the open house should be simple. Open houses have been known to work in any market at all dates and times. So know your market in order to drive the most traffic through your open house. I had a condo listing in downtown Portland one time, and there was an event that brought like 200 people walking down the street. So of course I had an open house during that time, right? Because I knew that there was going to be people walking past that condo. It was a perfect time to host an open house for that particular house. Sometimes if you know that the house is on a walk path from a school, that's a great time right after school, when school's let out, to have an open house, because then you're going to get kids and moms and dads coming in and looking and trying to see the house that might be closer for their kids in the same school district, right? So that's another great time. You might have an open house on a Friday night, because that might be the vibe of the house, right? People that want to come and look after work, who would not normally be able to see a house. Yeah. And same with themes. I heard all sorts of things. There was a cookie theme one time. There was a Super Bowl theme, or like a football game was playing in the background, and they had football themed type food and snacks and munchies and stuff at the open house. Of course, you always want to get permission for things like that, so make sure that you've reached out to your the listing the seller and the listing agent to make sure that that's something that they have permission to do. Yeah. Anybody else have any other ideas on what could attract visitors to open houses? Drawing or a raffle is a good one. Reach out to your lender partner, your title partner, and say, hey, can you sponsor a bottle of wine for my open house that I'm hosting? And they'll say, sure. It's part of their business expenses, right? Developing a rapport and a relationship with you, and you can say it's sponsored by XYZ Realty, or not Realty, mortgage broker. And then they get credit, you get credit, and then you have something to give away. Of course, they have to provide their name, their phone number, their email in order for you to give them the thing. We've had some agents in our office do a collaborative open house with other listing agents that are in the same neighborhood. Like there was somebody who had a listing in a mobile home park, and she reached out to the other agents that had listings in that same mobile home park, and they said, hey, let's do an event where we advertise to all of our people. And it was so successful that most of them ended up getting their home sold on that weekend. Their listing sold. So that's a great thing to do, to reach out with other agents and try to collaborate together. All right, let's move on to the next one. Prepare stats. This is knowing your market. If you've been practicing connecting with and knowing your market, then gathering the neighborhood stats for your open house is going to be fast. Helpful things to know about the neighborhood: local information like the school district, employment information, recreation nearby, traffic and commute times. All of those things are really helpful to know when you go in there. What are other things people might be coming to the open house desiring to know about the neighborhood?
Local babysitting.
Yep.
Hiking trails, playgrounds,
dog parks.
dog
Ooh,
parks.
that's a big one. People love their dogs.
Yes, they do. Did I tell you what I want to do?
No.
My neighborhood, so my house was a rental, and every dog likes to poop in my yard. So I'm going to put dog poop bags out in my yard and say, they come from Senior with Keller Williams on them.
Oh, that's great.
Please,
So you're
please help
branding
yourself.
dog food bags or putting the sign up there?
No, I think I'm gonna put stickers on the bags that has my
Perfect.
information on it.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
There's lots of dogs that poop in my yard. Yeah, it's lovely.
It's so lovely. That sounds fun and a good way to solve a problem.
There you go.
I love it. It's a great way of doing it. Whatever works, right? Finding a need and meeting that need. All right, let's talk about the be safe one. Yes, agent safety is of the utmost importance. It should be the top priority when you're hosting an open house because there is risk involved in hosting open houses. Buddy system is great. Always let someone know where you will be and when. Share your GPS location with a partner, or even somebody in your market center, right? You can have an accountability partner where you're like, I'm about to head into my open house. Here's where I'm going to be at, right? You can be my ping person. Park on the street prevents your car from being blocked. It's also important to check all the entrances and exits. When I first walk into the house while I'm prepping, I'll lock the door. So I'll unlock it, I'll lock the door behind me, and then I will walk the house completely, checking in closets, making sure as I'm turning on everything, as I'm opening up all the window blinds and making sure that there's so much light everywhere, and I'm making it smell good by dropping little bits of essential oils down the sink drain to make it smell like lemon or whatever. Like I'm looking to make sure that I know the house, that I know the exits, and that there's nobody in there ahead of time. And then that way, as I am I'm doing that, I'm looking for, potential areas to stay away from. And being in a central location is good. Never, ever, ever go first up the stairs or into a room. Really easy way to get attacked. Let's see. Have fully charged cell phone. And when you show a potential client through the house, allow them to walk ahead of you so that you're never being attacked from behind. Be familiar with all of the rules and the guidelines that are available in your area. I have to say that every time. And then we went over other open house conversations. It's useful to bring a partner. We kind of talked about this one already, but anybody else have any other thoughts about safety?
Yeah, Jameson had also pointed out that you never walk in first before your client. You always unlock the door and allow them to walk in first. But you also, knock and say, realtor, as you're opening the door and announce
for that
yourself.
first time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, from my first question, you're talking about, the potentiality of murder and rape. Are there any real estate agents that either open or conceal carry a firearm while they are doing open houses? And if
That's a
so,
good
like, is there I don't know, kind of a procedure for doing potentially that?
That's a really good question, and I don't have the stats and data on that, nor am I educated enough because I'm not a concealed carry person to be able to even advise on that. I would double check your rules and restrictions, what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do. So just be careful.
What I asked Jameson was, because I'm concealed carry.
Okay.
And I asked him if he knew of any regulations. He did not. And I said, well, I'm concealed carry. I said, I was carrying that day. Nobody knows. I mean, that's the whole point of it. But
Yeah.
to me, it is safety. And so I said, I just carry most of the time. I hike out in the middle of the woods by myself. So I carry. And
Mhm.
he just said that he did not know of any, rules against it at all.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, he may not be the most expert advice on that. I would still say I mean, this is just me being careful, make sure that you double check, right, what those rules and restrictions are. Just because somebody said, oh, I don't know of any, doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't any. So just be careful about that.
Okay, thanks.
The other thing that I would recommend instead of just, a weapon, you can have a whistle. Whistles are great. It's on my lanyard too, so I can have like a little whistle that you blow. There's a little sound check thingy that I have that if I pull it, I can do it. I carry a pepper spray in my bag. Another thing, or if I have it if I'm wearing a jacket, I may have it in my jacket pocket, so it's easily accessible if I need to. And then I have a flashlight that's a super high beam flashlight, which is supposed to have like a strobing effect, which can potentially blind somebody. So having those things available can help reduce your risk, because then it's also making you just more aware, right? That's part of the problem, is when you're not aware, things are much more likely to happen. Being aware makes you that much more or less of a victim, right?
I hang bells on my front door, inside the front door. So
Okay.
when somebody comes in, if I'm in another room, I know that somebody else has entered the house.
Ooh, okay. So it makes a little jingle sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, jingle bells.
Right. Jingle
Have you
bells.
ever
That's
dealt
great.
with like theft for doing an open house with people that are still living there?
You mean theft, like as in
Like if you're doing an open house for clients that are still currently living there, they clean up the house, you do an open house for them, they leave the property, and if somebody were to steal or damage the property in any type of way.
Right. And that's a question that you have, a conversation you have usually at your listing appointment if you're a listing agent, to say, hey, there's always risk when people are coming into your home, right? We can't guarantee that they will always be followed, that they will always have eyes on them at all times. So if you have any valuables, secure them, lock them away during this process, so that way they are not easily accessible for anybody, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we have a Ring camera in the home that we're holding open? Is that something that we can have?
There's rules and restrictions when it comes to recording devices. There's an advisory on OREF forms. I would recommend reading that. It's an advisory about recording devices may be present. And in fact, as a open house hoster, know that yourself. You're probably being recorded by the seller of that home, by a hidden camera of some sort somewhere. So just keep that in your mind.
Doesn't Keller Williams have a number you can call and say, like, I need the orange
orange
file
folder?
or something.
Yes, yes. Well, we do. You are always welcome to call the front desk. You can call the PB on call number if it happens to be after hours or on the weekend, and then say, "Hey, I'm at 123 Main Street, and I need that orange folder." This is when you're worried that your life is at risk or things are weird. We hear that on our end, and we immediately call the cops to disperse them out to that location.
So is Oregon a one-party consent state as far as recording goes? Because I've tried to look it up and I'm really confused about the law.
One party consent state?
As far as being like, so for a recording to be admissible as evidence in a legal situation, certain states say that both people need to know about the recording for it to be admissible. And that would be a two-party state and or a multiple party state. And a one party state is just like one person can just record whatever it is, and because it happened, it's admissible in court. But it's a state by state sort of thing. And I was wondering in Oregon, if say somebody wanted to record for their own safety or for the safety of their property, is that legal? And would that count as evidence in like in a legal way in
And
Oregon,
that
or do you know?
is beyond the scope of my expertise. I'm not
Okay.
gonna respond to you in the way that I would respond. If you would like to ask questions of that, I would reach out to the lawyer hotline through ORA,
Okay.
and they would be able to advise you on that. But it's beyond the scope of my expertise. So not a
Lawyer
lawyer,
hotline.
so I don't really know.
And one of the tips that Jameson gave me too that I thought was very valid was he said that if you get a call from like a buyer that lives out of state that says that they have to see a house and it's like last minute right at the end of the day, and he said you sometimes need to be careful. He said because that can be a setup. And he said that was a setup for one gal where they called right at the end of the day. The house was way out in the middle of nowhere. And when she drove out, it was two guys, and she did not stop. She just looked into the driveway, saw the two guys standing there, and she had the uneasy feeling and she kept going.
Like,
But he
nope.
said you need to be always aware that, and thinking about it. Does it make sense that somebody calls
It's true.
you
It's
very
so true.
last minute?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
We have a tool available to you through the Experience Brokerage Network. We've negotiated, so I believe I don't know the exact amount, $10 or $12 a month, but it's called Forewarn, and it's a phone number and or name checker, and it provides any legal stuff that a person has done in their past, and it pops up so you can scrub contacts through that to say, hey, is this a person that I've never met that I know that I can trust, right? When you have that phone number, so that you don't put yourself in situations like that, right?
What is that called?
Forewarn, Forewarn.
I was doing an open house, and not the best part of town when a really bad felon, they accidentally released him. And it was a little freaky because I had one single guy show up and I'm like, oh, okay. And I told him, I said, well, I said, did you hear the news that, they just let out this really bad criminal? And he goes, oh, no, I haven't. So it was kind of like I was kind of testing to see how he would react, because there I was in the house with this guy and I'm like, the door's open. I'm close to the door. But it still felt
just being situationally aware is going to reduce your risk significantly. The being situationally aware, listening to your gut, knowing all of these things, it's really helpful. Yeah. Okay, let's move forward a little bit. Any ahas from that last section? Things that you're going to take and move forward or became like, wow.
I didn't realize that doing open houses could be so risky. I'm just like, oh, it's an open house,
It's
sounds
good
like fun.
though. So now you know, and now you can be situationally aware.
Yeah.
I know as a man, you have a little bit more of an advantage. They're less likely to be attacked than women are. However, it still does occur.
Yeah, guys get shot. It's a bummer.
Yep. Any other ahas before we move on to our next section? Okay, then let's go on to prepare, prospect, and pursue, the 3 Ps. All right, another reader of our quote.
The difference between big and really big is how you manage your time and the focus.
Ooh. How may this apply to holding open houses?
All I can say is that is so true.
Yep. It is so true. How can it apply to holding open houses?
I think about what we've spoken about in this seminar so far, and taking steps to, I guess, capitalize on, when people will be around, or
Yep.
create the most opportunity for when the open house is going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, the difference between being big and being really big is how you manage your time and focus. You can show up to an open house. You can go, you sit there for 2 hours and your time is up and you're like, oh, I'm done, right? That's okay. You've hosted an open house, you did that. But being really big is taking the time and the effort to like do all the things that are going to make you successful in that open house, setting the goals, being knowledgeable, making sure that you're advertising it, that you're marketing, that you're using all the opportunities for lead generation, that you're door knocking, like all of those things that you do to prepare for an open house, which should be the bulk of what you do for an open house is hours and hours of prepare work, a little bit of time while you're in the open house to meet the people, and then hours of follow-up. When you're doing that, that's the difference between people who are big and people who are really big. Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. Prepare, prospect, and pursue. All right. The goal for open houses is to get appointments with active buyers and sellers. We love that, right? Be at your best and achieve what you've set out for yourself takes preparation. So scheduling preparation time during the week before your open house so you can ensure that you capture leads and get appointments. You'll spend more time preparing than you will hosting. Prepare your mindset. Set high and achievable goals. Remove limiting beliefs. Focus on your success. Believe in yourself. That confidence translates when you are in front of somebody. They know it, right? So being the best that you can possibly be is going to get you there. So how can you be the best that you can possibly be? Practicing conversations, greeting people, answering questions, capturing contact information, using the tools that are going to help make you that much better. Ask yourself, how many leads do you intend to capture? How many appointments do you want to get from your open house, right? If your goal is to close one house every month, which will put you at 12, which is like above 100K return on your investment, right? Like that's that. If that's your goal, then you may need to set, depending on how good you are at meeting people and converting them into clients, but you may have to meet, 20 people at an open house for a month. That will lead to one closing, right? So as you do more and more of them, you'll understand what your percentage is on your returning. You're going to build your open house plan in light of that, but preparing is a big part of that. All right, let's talk about the week before. You've done the hard work picking your house. You know the next few steps involved in maximizing potential client traffic. And a lot of this is involving posting online the days leading up to the open house, right? 93% of buyers will use a website to find a house. So go where the people are, post online about your open house. Walk the participants through the days leading up to the open house. Remind them, let's talk about like when you are preparing for the open house. You don't want to call anybody who's not on the do not call list. We have to say that. But you should be calling about 100 people leading up to the days of the open house, right? Who are those people that you're going to be calling? Preferably people in the neighborhood, preferably people in your sphere, people who might have prospecting set up for a particular neighborhood. You can call them, you can reach out to them. Like there's a lot of things that can be done. And you can get lots of good information from the neighbors. When I do door knocking ahead of time, I will walk the neighborhood and I'll be like, hey, tell me what you love about this neighborhood. I'm going to be hosting an open house on Saturday and I want to sell this home. That does a lot of things. It gives you information that you can bring up when you're in the open house, and it also tells that particular potential seller down the line that you are a go-getter, that you're actually out there looking to care about what's going on in the neighborhood. All right, it does say that you guys have access to a checklist called Preparing for an Open House and Your Materials. Do you guys have materials? Should have asked that in the beginning. Was it provided to you? A little binder? Or no?
I have a book. That's
A book?
yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll reach out to Mara and ask about the checklist for you guys, and then it can be emailed. Okay. Okay. Because I don't have that. Let's talk about on Monday, select the house. Tuesday, post online, walk the neighborhood, invite neighborhoods to the showing. Wednesday, post online again, put the yard sign in. Post online again on Thursday, invite your database. On Friday, post online again, prepare the market stats, print flyers, door knock. All of those things can be done ahead of time, right? And this is where you're also taking the time to prepare your flyers to make sure that you have the things that you need to lead into that open house. What I usually take with me with my open house print up is the MLS agent full, or not, well, I print up one for myself, but then I also print up some MLS client fulls that I can pass out that have my name up at the top. Because then that way I can be providing them that data. Sometimes I will prepare and print neighborhood statistics, right? Where I'm looking at the median, the average, and the highs and the lows of the houses that have sold in that particular neighborhood. So I'll do some research there and have something printed up so that people can see. I'll oftentimes look for comps in the neighborhood, and I'll have those ones printed up for me as well. So that way I have a little clipboard, and then I can flip through and be like, oh, if this house isn't for you, have you considered 124 Main Street? Because that one is similar to this, and here's why. I'm happy to show it to you later. We just have to do a real quick thing of paperwork first, right? Like, boom, boom, boom. You're providing value. You're showing your expertise. You're getting out there. I'll print up Area Pro information summaries about the neighborhood. It's another thing that I like to have. And then because oftentimes as Keller Williams agents, you have access to Keller Home Loans, which is an in-house lender program that does not charge loan origination fees, nor does it charge, it will give $1,000 cash back at closing. So it saves your clients thousands of dollars, because loan origination fees are usually 1% price of the home. So let's imagine it's a $300,000 home, no loan origination fee, that's $3,000 less that clients have to pay for their closing costs. So, and then they get $1,000 back credit towards their closing. So that's $4,000 that they don't have to pay. And then I'll provide a true story of clients that I've helped with Keller Home Loans. I also will print up alternative funding sources like Knock or Homeward. Homeward and Knock are buy first then sell programs, and that can sometimes be helpful and beneficial for somebody who is worried about what that process looks like. Like they're like, hey, we want to buy first and then sell. And so those are great programs available too. So I'll have all of that ready. I lay it out on a countertop. I have all the spreadsheets. It is great for all of my high C data people. They really they like to know that stuff. All right, let's move on to the next one. What clients like to know: community and neighborhood information, relocation information, first-time buyer specifics, and mortgage information. Knowing the numbers of your market are going to help you address what clients' needs are not on the list, right? People that come to the open house, they intend to know the community and the neighborhood, and remember that they're buying a lifestyle. So be a community service real estate expert by knowing your market and being familiar with that neighborhood. Learn the name of the park down the street, or the dog park, or the neighborhood history, or any other things that are going to help you be great. Recreation, people who are moving into the area, that's always also helpful to know. You can ask when you're door knocking, what's something convenient about the neighborhood that you live in that you'd like in the next neighborhood you're moving to, right? You can ask that, or people who are coming in, like say, hey, what are some things that are of value to you? What is it that you're looking for? What do you need in a home? And if that home hits, then awesome. Then you can sell that home that way. If it doesn't, then you're like, hey, guess what? I have this comp that does hit that, because you know your market, you know what's live in that particular area, and you're ready and prepared to show it to them when they need it. Okay, so let's talk about the next one, what clients like to know. Clients like to know the community and the neighborhood information. The relocation information, first-time buyer specifics, and mortgage information. So all of those are things that visitors might ask about. So I just talked a little bit about Keller Mortgage, beneficial tool. Here's the website. So I'd recommend getting connected with somebody. And if you need a person, I can provide you with a really great name. Her name's Marianne O'Brien, and she's awesome. She's my Keller connection. She actually provided me a lead one year, that was 2 years ago, somebody that she had connected with in Chicago, and they were moving to Portland, and she's like, Stacy's my person in Portland, here's a lead. So I got a client through Keller Home Loans, which is pretty cool, because I had closed a lot of my clients through Keller Home Loans, because it's a really great cost saving program for your first time buyers, and it's exclusive to Keller agents. So it makes people sticky, because they're like, ooh, I can have access to this program without actually knowing, it's an exclusive thing for just Keller agents, which is cool. So they have to work with a Keller agent, and you're a Keller agent. So yay, they have access.
Are they with Envoy? Is that the?
No, this is separate from Envoy. Envoy is a fantastic lender partner. I'd recommend having them in your lender wallet too. But Keller Home Loans is a great one too. So I would have both, right? Connections with all.
So Marianne, is she in Eugene or up north?
No, she's actually in Idaho, but she works for Keller Home Loans, and she can close in Oregon. So
sweet.
Yeah. But here's the port. It's called portal.kellermortgage.com. And know that you have disclosure things that you have to provide if you are going to be using that to your people to say, hey, I'm not getting any kickback for this, but it is an in-house lending program. So we have to provide you with a disclosure saying that that we're in compliance with the RESPA and the ABA disclosure consumer information. So that can all be explained when you connect with your person.
Can you give that address one more time?
Yep, it's portal.kellermortgage.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and then making sure that you brush up on the home buying process. Open houses are great for first-time home buyers, and they're going to have lots of questions. If you can become an expert for first-time home buyers, that goes a lot way in picking them up as a client. Getting your visitors to download the Keller Williams app is awesome. It leads to leverage, and you can then be able to know when it is that they're looking at things, because you get notified through that app. You don't have to know everything there is about mortgage, but you do have to know enough information to provide them like what general interest rates could be. Don't ever make yourself out to be a lender, but you can put them in the path of lenders and say, hey, I have some excellent, really trustworthy lender associates that I've worked with and have successfully closed homes for my clients. And here's a list of 3 of them. So Envoy is almost always on my list, and then Keller Home Loans. And then I have another 2 or 3 that are dependent on specific needs of my clients. Like I have a first-time homebuyer specialist. I have somebody who's great at bridge loans. I have another person that's a credit union. Like I have a variety of people for a variety of needs. I'll use a VA lender if it's somebody who is needing to go VA. Like, so there's just a lot of options out there. Bulk up your lender.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
This is kind of off the subject, but on the Keller Williams on our in a command, we are able to set up so that like homes and listings for buyers.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it once before, and I tried to do it this morning, but it looks like it says that they're for in-house only and not to share with outside. I was kind of confused by all that.
I think what they're meaning is that if it's a home that's not listed, and prior to it going live, you can share it within the XBN network to anybody here, and advertise it ahead of time that way, just to those people.
Okay, so we can still make a share 10 homes that are for sale with a potential buyer.
If they are active. If they're
Okay.
not, then there's other restrictions that come along with it. You can share it in-house, but you can't share it to the general public. Especially
Okay.
because your MLS is going to have specific requirements on coming soon, no showing, and every MLS has different rules and restrictions. So you just have to know what those are.
So if it's on the RMLS and it doesn't say coming soon, it says active, then we should be able to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. You can do whatever you need to market it out there.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to work this morning, and this client can't keep track of the listings I send her. She's all confused
and this is through the website or
the
through the app?
command. Yeah, I think it's through, well, I think you do it in command, but then it ends up on your website, and they can go into your website and they can find their name and look at those listings you have put in there for them.
Oh, interesting. I did not know it did that. That must have been an update recently. That's cool.
But maybe I'm wrong because I couldn't get it to work this morning.
Well, you can always reach out to the chat support. They're super helpful about that stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting because there was one in there from October that I did. So
yeah, but they're constantly updating the platform to make it better. So it could have just been something like that, right? That wasn't quite active yet, or that has just updated. So yeah, it's worth a little chat with the chatbot.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about prospecting. You've heard the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Then you've heard of leads, listings, and leverages. Open houses are all about leads, leads, and leads. So an open house is a great prospecting tool that requires mostly time as an investment. So let's talk about ways you can use open houses to prospect for leads. An important thing to do is build trust and rapport with the people that come into the house. The ways you can do that are by greeting everybody who comes in, even the little baby, even the dog that's sitting in the car, right? All of the things that are needed. Greet everybody. Make sure that they all feel important. Ask visitors what brought you in today, or how are you looking for a home in this neighborhood or price range? Have you been looking at other houses? Would you like to know more about the market or the neighborhood? What do you like about this house that I may share with others? I oftentimes will start by asking, so tell me about your real estate journey so far. Like what? And then they usually are like, oh, we're on our 5th offer. Then you already know they're working with an agent. And you're like, great. Well, how can I help you with this particular house? Or they're like, oh, we're just starting. And then you're like, bing, 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 lead, lead, lead. If you're just starting, then I can get you connected to all the people that you're supposed to start with, and let's get an appointment set. And so be positive, be upbeat, be trustworthy. People don't want to be sold to, but they do want you to be a positive force in their mind. That is the expert, because it is a daunting process that a lot of people don't have a huge amount of experience with, and you get to do this all the time, right? So you're helping multiple people. You have much more experience than somebody who's buys and sells a home every 5 years or every 10 years or whatever. So it's important to meet the people where they are. If the visitors don't seem interested in engaging with you, then don't engage with them, right? Mirror match them. See what it is, see what their personality style is so that you can match them. If somebody is a super data nerd, then guess what? You're going to be talking numbers and your area pro resources, and you're going to be pulling out all that market data because that's how you're going to match them. If that person is like, ooh, this house feels so good, then you're like, yeah, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, I love sitting down. That corner right next to the fireplace was so cozy. Let's go walk over there so you can see it, right? You just mirror match where they're at, so that way they can feel at ease. If they come in and their arms are crossed and they're like, and they like one word responses, cool. Let them take a step back. Let them come and approach you with things, right? Just say, hey, I'm gonna be waiting here in the kitchen. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you. But don't forget to notice that thing up on the in the bonus room that we talked, like that's really cool. Come and tell me what you think about it later. Boom. Step back. They feel like you're not coming at them, and so it's just about getting to know people's energies, how you can meet them, how you can respond to them. So that's super helpful, and provide value. All right, let's move on to the next one right over here. Ooh. Providing value. During an open house, it's important to demonstrate and provide value. You can do this several ways. The most obvious is to know your numbers. When you get to the day of the open house, make sure that you know your stats of the market center, that you know your market stats, how many days the house has been on the market, the price, the number of houses sold in the neighborhood, and for what price. So this is where you've already done your research into knowing what's going on in the neighborhood there. Understand personality types and conversation styles of different people. Did they engage with you when you greeted them? Mirror their behavior, match their energy, their interests, and their questions, right? You can say, what are some things that you are able to offer visitors when they come to you at an open house? Let's think through this, right? Here you are, you're hosting an open house. What are some things that you can provide? Anything?
Is that a question?
Yeah, it is a question.
I would say just a welcoming and fun, friendly atmosphere for them, to feel welcome in.
Yeah.
Feel at home in their new home.
Yep. Expertise, guys. You know more than they do. You really do. You're the real estate expert.
Providing them the knowledge.
They want to know what's happening in the market. You're hearing what's happening in the market because you're around it every day, right? And you are researching what's happening in the market so that you're prepared to answer that question. They want to know that you are a safe and trustworthy person, right? So you're going to need to offer the visitors examples of market reports. That's where Area Pro comes in. A list of other houses for sale. That's where your research has come in. Some agents will have raffles. It's the goal to capture leads. Partnering with people is super great. You have a whole lot of value to offer when you are hosting an open house, right? Because and tell yourself that when you go in. Because as a newer agent, you might think, oh, I don't know anything. They're going to pick up on the fact that you are thinking that, and they're going to be like, I don't know if I can trust this person. Like, no, who wants to work with somebody who doesn't know anything? No, you have to say like, hey, if you don't know it right now, you are connected to a network of people that do. And you can find out. Yep. So possible. All right, let's move on to the next one. Ooh, capturing the information. When you have a Keller Williams app, it's really great. It looks like this. Let me pull up my phone. I don't know if it's going to have, I didn't even think to open it up, but it looks like this. It's that one, that KW command for agents. Okay, that's the one that you want to have downloaded onto your phone. That allows you to have access to command. Oh, every time. Nope, never mind. When you're on there, you can click your picture up at the top and it will automatically unlock your business card. And so it's a QR code that scans you into their phone. And so it's a great way of providing business cards to somebody in a digital way. So recommend that. And then you can also share your KW app that's branded to you. So that's right. When you click your picture, you just say, share my KW app. And you're like, hey, what's your phone number? And I'll send you this app that does not track anything like Zillow does. They tend to track your information and will sell it to the highest bidder. This one just goes directly to me. So that way I can find what it is that you like and I can help you see it. I'm your portal into all things houses. And I'm your person for life. You'll never get rid of me. Ha 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 ha. Ask them questions. People love, 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 love to talk about what they want, what they need. So one thing that we do is we ask probing questions. We try to train the Ford model, which is the who, the what, the where, the when, the why. And so asking questions. Do you guys know what the Ford stands for?
Family.
Family. O.
Occupation.
Occupation. R.
Recreation.
Recreation. And D.
Dreams.
Yes. Awesome. You guys are good. Woo woo. Yeah, you want to ask deep questions, right? If somebody's coming and they're like, oh, we're just starting the process of open house hosting, we're not ready to buy yet. You're like, great. Tell me a little bit more about what your timeline might be, right? Or you ask a deeper question, like what's preventing you if you found the perfect, like, let's say this was your perfect house, what's preventing you from acting today? They might say, oh, well, we have some credit things we need to work out, or blah, blah, blah. When you get down into the depth of it, you're expressing interest in them, which is great. And you're getting information about what it is that they need to be able to move forward. So super, super helpful. Questions.
What
All
can
right,
you
our
go
last one.
through?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What does the FORD stand for again? I got the family and the dreams, but what is the
Family,
O?
occupation,
Recreation.
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 Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Hopefully you're connecting with somebody on those questions, right? When you're asking about their family, right? Oh yeah, I see you've got little kids with you. Awesome. I also am a mom, right? And you're connecting in that way. Or I know what it's like because I did blah, blah, blah. Or if you find out one of their things that they like doing for recreation is playing golf, you're like, excellent. I'm a golfer, or my dad's a golfer. I don't know, whatever. That's obviously not my thing. So I would not connect with somebody on that level, and that's okay. You might, right? You want to find common ground because then they're much more likely to like you. All right, let's talk about number 3, the pursue. The goal of the open house is to generate leads and sell houses. So you have to make sure that you follow up and convert leads after an open house so your time investment pays off. Guys, there's 7 to 11 follow-ups is the statistics for conversion. 7 to 11 follow-ups. So when you meet somebody and you get their contact information, follow up 7 to 11 times over the next month to convert them. That's the statistic. So don't give up after 1 or 2. Don't give up if they ghost you. They're probably busy. They're probably not ready. Don't take it personal. Just know that you're playing the stats, you're playing the numbers, and it's going to turn into business for you eventually. But 7 to 11 is the number. One thing I do immediately upon the open house is I will send a quick little video of myself to the number. Like, hey, I just wanted to say it was really nice to meet you at this open house at 123 Main Street. This is my contact information. My name's Stacy Coy. I would love to work with you. Boom. Send that video off. That way they have a visual of who I am and they're able to see it right away. They have my number, I have their number. And then if I don't hear from them right away, that's fine. In 2 days' time, guess what I'm doing? I'm texting them, hey, I just wanted to follow up and see if there was any questions that you had about that particular house. And did you know that there was one that's coming on the market that I'd be happy to show you? That's similar. Boom. You get the idea? A couple days later, you're calling. Like, hey, this is Stacy again. I haven't heard from you. Blah, blah, blah. You just are persistent in the way that you do it in a variety of ways. It's why we get the phone number, email, and address so that we can consistently follow up in a method that works for them. One of our agents, she was talking about how she will take she'll kind of joke with them in the beginning, like, hey, I'm taking your information, and you have a choice of following up with me, or you can ghost me. And if you choose to ghost me, that's fine. Just know that that if I'm following up with you, then just say, hey, I'm not interested, or just don't ghost me. Like I don't like that very much. It doesn't feel good, right? And so when she does her follow-up, she'll say that in there, like, hey, this is so and so, and I am just following up. Remember, no ghosting. And then she puts a little emoji of a ghost. And for her, that works really, really well because then they're like, ha, 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 ha. We would never ghost you, even though they do, because it happens. Yeah, so it's just a matter of following up. If you go to an open house and you meet people and you have leads and you don't follow up, then you are literally throwing away an opportunity. So come up with a system. That system is really easy to access here in the KW command system. I'm going to talk to you about, I know it's not the thing, smart plans, guys, on your KW app. All you have to do is go access smart plans, type in open house follow-up, and then you'll get an option of a really great open house follow-up plan. Assign the contact that information, and then it'll automatically do it for you. So easy. Smart plans for open house follow-up. Boom. Life is done. If anybody needs help with that, reach out to me separately. I'd be happy to walk you through it. Or attend my Command Your Business class, which is going to happen on Thursday. So we talk in depth about what that looks like.
I'm hoping no too many people will show up because I have lots of questions.
That's good to know. I know that's what it's there for, right? To help you guys get systematized in your business so that you know how to use the system. Because let's imagine you're hosting 3 open houses in a weekend and you meet 10 follow-ups. It's hard to keep track of all 10 of those people and what you called when. Put them on a system. That way it runs for you. It'll automatically send an email for you that you don't have to do. I mean, the one thing it won't do is call for you, but then you're like, oh, on Tuesdays, I call my open house follow-ups, boom, from that weekend. So I'm picking up the phone on Tuesdays and I'm calling those people that I met at my open houses. Just wanted to see if there's anything I can do to help. I noticed that the house that we saw went pending, but guess what? There's something else that we can talk about. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So it's the follow-up is the key. How many times again does it take to convert?
8 to 11.
7 to 11. 7 to 11. All right. So it's a really good practice to follow up immediately with contact information, get them into your system, tag them in a smart plan, and let the plan run itself. And then get them assigned to a neighborhood if you have their address. That way they receive something on a regular basis from you, which is super easy. And then reconnect, reach out again, ask if they're enjoying things, how you can help them. All right, so planning an open house activity. I don't know that we're going to have time for that, guys. We have just 15 minutes left. Although some of you did say that you were going to be hosting this weekend. Raise your hand if you said you were hosting this weekend. You already have an open house set up? Anyone?
I'm trying to get one, but they haven't said yes yet.
Okay. If you do get it, what is it that you're going to do to prep?
I'm going to call my American Title and get information on that house and look it up. I'm going to print the RMLS client and agent.
Yep.
I do door knocking, so that. And then I'm going to do a comparables.
Yep.
And which I haven't done before, which I like that idea.
Oh yeah, pulling up other houses that could work as well. That's super good. Yep.
So I think that's what I remember.
Cool. Okay, we've got some ahas. Any ahas from this section? Nothing. You guys learned nothing from that section. Come on.
So what happened to me, I think it was for my first open house, we had one person come in and she lived in that area. And she started talking about how her kids were gonna soon leave the house and then bye. But neither I or the other agent, we didn't say much. Like we were talking, but I was shadowing, so I didn't know if to say anything or not. And then after when she left, I was like, girl, that was yours. And then she's like, yeah, right. And I was like, yeah, that was like such a good opportunity for you. And then he's like, I was like, next time.
That's good. Yes, because that can become yours. Even if that person's not ready yet, they will be eventually. And then you can have them. All right, so let's review the bullet points. Open house best practices. Let me know if you have any questions about that. The benefits of an open house, the preparing, the prospecting, the pursuing. I never talked to you guys about my open house bag. I have a bag. It's big, massive. And the things that I have in that bag are toilet paper, paper towels, delicious smelling essential oils that are natural scents only. So nothing fancy or frou-frou, things that are like mostly citrusy, that I will use to just make it smell fresh in the sinks. I just put a quick little drop in each sink and it smells delicious. I have scissors in my open house sign up bag. I have print ups of my Keller home loans, of my Homeward and my Knock, because those are the buy first then sells. I have print ups of the market action report that comes out every month from RMLS, because that is stats and data about the whole area that I serve. I will have snacks sometimes. I find prepackaged candy is really good. High Chews have been my go-to. So just like a little baggie of High Chews that I put out. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't like to have a lot of messy things just because I don't want to make a mess in a seller's home, but I find that candy can sometimes be something that people will take. Sometimes bottled waters is great too, if it's really hot out. That way you have some nice cool bottled water that you can offer, like the little mini ones. It doesn't have to be anything major. When people come into an open house home, my open house bag will also have pens, extra pens for my sign in clipboards, because I have little mini clipboards that have my my information that I'll get my sign in information from. Let's see, trying to go through everything else. During COVID, of course, masks and gloves and hand sanitizer, that's always helpful. A little dustpan is great if you need to do a quick little sweepy up. Extra booties can sometimes be helpful too, in case there's not booties at the house and it happens to be a really particularly muddy day. My little pepper spray and stuff. So it's an open house bag that I keep packed. It's actually more like a tub thing, and it has it so it's so easy. I just pick it and I go, right? Take it with me every time. It sits in a closet during the open house. Afterwards, I just dump everything back in there, and then it's in my garage for the week. And so it's less preparation each time. I can just pull it out and go. Yeah, so having that little open house bag is super helpful. And I think those are all the major things that I end up doing during an open house. But do you guys have any questions about any of the things that we talked about? Was there anything that you wish that we would have covered more in detail, or that you would like to go more in depth about?
I think it's that 3 o'clock snooze time. Low sugar.
I know. But you can't snooze yet, because as Mara indicated, I am working towards becoming Keller Williams University certified. And so this is a goal that I have for myself this year. And part of that goal is to teach Ignite, which I was already doing. I teach Ignite often, but to ask the participants who attend my classes to give me a review. So I'm going to pop into the chat a page. If you would do it right now, that'd be awesome. I can walk you guys through what it looks like. and how easy it is to do. You can rate me whatever you would like, but of course, I would love a 5-star review because I have to get a certain number of 4 or 5-star reviews that are going. But the region that you would select would be
Are you
the
posting this?
what'd you say? I didn't hear you. Was that you, Zinnia? Oh no, we lost her. All right. So you're going to be over here in the, where is it? The Northwest region. So that's what you're going to select first. Boom. This is a virtual, we're online. So you'd select that. The course is Ignite, and we are in the open house one, which I think is number 7, capture leads with open houses. And then you're going to have to type my name. So you'll have to scroll down to the bottom and say instructor name not in drop down. And then you'll type my name in, which is Stacy Coy. And then you just get to rate me. And then how likely would you refer it? And then you hit done and then you're done. Boom. So easy. And I appreciate it, everyone. Thank you so much for helping me reach some of my goals. And I hope that you guys find great success in your open house adventuring.
How do you get to this?
In the chat for the Zoom, I dropped it in the chat.
Okay.
Do you see it? It's just a quick little link right there.
I had one quick question.
Of course.
Your thoughts on maybe hosting like a virtual open house? So there's a lot of people. Like for me, we bought from Alaska without. Yeah.
So you were one of those people that was brave enough to buy a house sight unseen.
Yeah. It worked out all right. It's okay. So, what are your thoughts on a virtual?
I mean, I know they were a very popular option during COVID. I don't know how well they would be attended now. You can always try. You can ask the seller if that's an option that they would like to have done. It's really just up to you how you want to make that happen.
Can you walk us through? I selected your Northwest region virtual.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So right over here, it's the Northwest region. It's virtual. And then you're going to select Ignite 7, which is capture leads with open houses.
Okay.
And then for instructor name, it's instructor name not in the drop down. And then you just type me in. And instructor name not in the drop down is like at the very bottom of the list. Thanks all. And then you can just rate it. And then hit send. All right, any other questions that you guys might have? I know it's coming up on the end of our time together, but I do want you to feel like you gain some value out of this and that you feel more confident moving forward.
I have a question, Stacy.
Okay.
Where would you recommend for us to look for, like, is it the little cards or the oh my goodness, I'm like blacking out.
Like your business cards?
No, I have my business cards for the open house so that we can have like on the table just like little pamphlets. I know that I can make them on Canva. Do you have a place where you recommend for printing them out?
So I try not to overcomplicate it, because if the system becomes too big, then I'm not going to use it, right? And I like to just print out the MLS client full because it has my information on it, and it also has information about that particular house. And so for me, that tends to be something that is helpful. Everything that I have printed on my table, whether it's for Knock or Homeward or Keller Home Loans, like all of those things have my brand, it's branded to me. So I'll have like a branding contact information on the bottom of it. And that way I'm not recreating the wheel every single time that I'm prepping an open house. That to me seems like a time sink. And I'm all about maximizing how I use my time, because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing something that could be systematized, right? And it's easy for me to just go to the MLS and just print that up right away. Or when I'm running low on my copies of those other things that I spent one time making sure that I had my branding on, and then from then on, I'm able to go, and then, just have it. And, having it branded to you is super helpful because it provides your information. So, unless it's simple and easy, you won't use it, and that can be a bad thing. So that's all I'll say. We have access to Canva through Keller. So you utilize your Canva, create a template that is an easy plug and play one.
I don't know if you can see it, but this is, I don't know, I think it's going to blur out, but it was kind of a open house seller feedback sheet where they just put their name, phone number, email, and then they kind of just do a little check off of what they thought about the house.
Yeah.
And then if they're looking to buy or looking to sell and how soon.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is basically you're able to get their information. Mm-hmm. And I was given that so that I can make copies and use it down the road at an open house. And I thought that's a really good thing to have at an open house.
Yeah, it is. I found that those are great, but that ends up with you, right? So they don't walk away with something that has your name on it. And so it's a great question thing that you can create. Like mine is super easy. It's like name, phone number, address. Are you working with an agent? What's your timeline? And are you working with a lender? Yes, no, boom, boom, boom. And that is like the main amount of information that I need. So that way I can then take notes on the whole rest of the time as I'm talking with the people. But you don't need to go out of control with that. Just create a template that's super easy for you to just print and go, or have a stack that's easy to utilize. Don't make it too complicated. If you make it too complicated, then you're spending your time on things that are not going to be a good return on your investment. Make it once, be done, and then just go.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Any other questions? All right. If there's no other questions, what I'm going to do is I am going to stop the recording and then end the meeting. If you need a copy of this recording for whatever reason, you can reach out to Mara. I appreciate everybody being on, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.